Buckle up, explorers. For the next 60 minutes, we'll circle the planet, one fascinating country every single minute. From haunted forests in Romania to rainbow rivers in Colombia and skyscraper-deep rivers in Africa, each stop will drop a mind-blowing fact you've probably never heard. Grab a snack, hit subscribe, and answer the question at the end of every segment in the comments. Ready? First, we zoom in on Africa. Let the adventure begin. First stop, Africa. Let's kick off with Madagascar. Madagascar. Welcome to Madagascar, a time capsule island that drifted from Africa 88 million years ago. Its isolation means more than 90% of all plants and animals here exist nowhere else. Lemurs that sing at dawn, neon chameleons that flash through a rainbow of colors, and baobab trees that look as if their roots grow in the sky. Conservationists call it evolution's playground. Fun fact, recent DNA studies show some Malagasy species split from mainland ancestors before the dinosaurs vanished, making this island a living fossil record. Which uniquely Malagasy marvel would you film first? Tell me below. Republic of the Congo. Deep in Central Africa flows the Congo River, plunging 220 meters at its deepest point. Deeper than a 70-story skyscraper is tall. Those trench-like depths generate bizarre countercurrents and hide electric fish, still unknown to science. Added twist. Recent sonar surveys revealed sheer-walled submarine canyons that rival the Grand Canyon underwater. Dare to sail over water darker than night, where the bottom is farther away than the ocean floor is at many beaches? Egypt. Ancient Egyptians slept on carved limestone headrests instead of pillows. Elevating the skull, they believed, connected body and spirit and kept creepy crawlies away. Archaeologists have found these stone pillows in the tombs of nobles dating back 500 years. Bonus detail, some even had protective spells etched on them to guard against nightmares. Could you trade memory foam for polished rock and still dream sweetly? Tanzania. Mount Kilimanjaro rises 5,895 meters, yet belongs to no mountain range, making it the tallest freestanding peak on Earth. Climbers pass 5 climate zones in a single ascent, from banana groves to alpine desert and a glacier-capped summit that scientists say could vanish by 2050. Fun fact, climate cores drilled in the ice-preserved atmospheric history back 11,700 years. Will you climb before the snows of Kilimanjaro melt forever? Ethiopia. In Ethiopia, the calendar is 7 to 8 years behind the rest of the world, and every day starts at sunrise, not midnight. Land on the 1st of January elsewhere, and it's still the 25th of December here. Added twist, the nation also counts hours from dawn, so 7 a.m. local time is 1 o'clock in Ethiopian timekeeping. How would you juggle 2 calendars and 2 clocks? Fancy celebrating New Year twice? Rwanda. Plastic bags are illegal in Rwanda, and on the last Saturday of every month, the entire country joins Umuganda, a giant community cleanup. Kigali now ranks among Africa's cleanest capitals. Fun side note, participation is so high that litter dropped in the city is often picked up within minutes by volunteers or wardens. Could your hometown go litter-free with one communal sweep? Nigeria. Nollywood releases roughly 500 films a year, more than Hollywood. Features are shot in days, premiered on street corners, then streamed to audiences across Africa and the diaspora, injecting billions into Nigeria's economy. Added detail, a single blockbuster can recoup its budget from mobile phone downloads alone. Could you script, shoot, and edit a movie before next Monday? Kenya. Every July, nearly 2 million wildebeest, zebra and gazelle thunder into Kenya's Masai Mara. The Great Migration stirs dust clouds seen from space, while crocodiles and lions lie in wait. Extra insight. Tracking collars show some wildebeest cover more than 800 kilometers a year, roughly the distance from Paris to Berlin. Would you camp beside that living stampede? Algeria. The Sahara is famous for blistering heat, yet some winters, Algeria's dunes wear snow. In 2018, up to 40 centimeters blanketed orange sand in the town of Ain Sefra, staying several hours before melting. Meteorologists blame rare cold fronts funneled south from Europe. Fancy sand sledding a desert dune in white? South Africa. Cape Town's Table Mountain often sports a tablecloth, a waterfall of cloud created when moist sea air climbs, cools and condenses over its flat summit. Added fact, the local legend says the cloud is pipe smoke from a never-ending wager between a pirate and the devil. Would you ride the cable car through a fog cascade for breakfast views? Ghana. In Ghana, every color and pattern of kente cloth tells a proverb: gold for royalty, blue for peace, green for growth. Weavers memorize hundreds of hidden messages, literally writing wisdom into fabric that once dressed Ashanti kings. Fun detail, modern designers now embed QR codes into kente to link buyers back to the proverb online. What story would your dream weave send to the world? Next, welcome to vibrant Asia. Jordan. Hidden in Jordan's black, basalt desert lies Jawa Dam, the world's oldest known dam, built 500 years ago. Prehistoric farmers stacked lava blocks across a dry wadi to trap violent flash floods and store water for months. Archaeologists say the reservoir once held nearly 1 million cubic meters, enough to green an entire Stone Age settlement. Recent laser scans revealed spillways, sluice gates, and even secondary dikes, proving sophisticated engineering millennia before the Romans. Would you trek miles of scorching lava rock just to lay a hand on Stone Age concrete? Nepal. Nepal is the only nation bold enough to break the rectangle rule. Its crimson flag shows 2 stacked triangles, symbolizing the Himalayas and bearing a sun and crescent moon. Historians say its unique outline once let soldiers spot the Nepali banner instantly on chaotic battlefields. Bonus detail, flag math proves its proportions exactly match the golden ratio. Beauty in geometry and patriotism both. Would you fly a pennant shaped like the peaks it defends? Philippines. The Philippines claims 7,641 islands, and some sandbars literally appear at low tide, host a picnic, then vanish beneath the waves hours later. Locals call them ghost islands, and fishermen navigate by memory because GPS charts change monthly. Marine biologists recently found brand new coral species sprouting on a sandbar that exists less than 30% of the year. Would you build a sandcastle on a beach that might sink before sunset? Bhutan. High in the eastern Himalayas lies Bhutan, where progress is measured in gross national happiness instead of GDP. Television and internet were banned until 1999, so culture could stay intact. Even today, the capital has no traffic lights, just gloved policemen waving choreography. Recent surveys show forest covers over 70% of the kingdom, making it the planet's only carbon-negative country. Could you trade binge streams and big box malls for mountain monasteries and mandated happiness? Uzbekistan. Uzbekistan is one of only 2 double landlocked nations on Earth. To reach any ocean, you must cross at least 2 other countries. Yet its Silk Road capitals, Samarkand and Bukhara, dazzle with turquoise domes glittering like a landlocked sea of tiles. Fun fact, an underground oasis, artesian water, feeds the ancient city wells, hinting at lost rivers beneath the desert. Could you thrive happily where the nearest beach is a 5-nation road trip away? Kazakhstan. Stretching across endless steppe, Kazakhstan hosts Baikonur Cosmodrome, the world's oldest and largest spaceport. Yuri Gagarin blasted off here in 1961, and rockets still thunder skyward weekly, carrying crews to the ISS. The launch complex is so big it supports its own hidden ghost town of abandoned Soviet apartments. Recent wildlife surveys even spotted Saiga antelope grazing beside unused launch pads? Would you watch a spaceship rise from a desert that once launched the first human to the stars? South Korea. In South Korea, you're considered 1 year old at birth, and everyone celebrates a shared birthday on January 1st. Under this traditional system, your KH can be 2 years older than your international age. Legislators recently voted to switch official documents to global counting, but cafes and families still use the old system. Bonus quirk. Babies born on December 31st turn true next day. How old would you be, K-style? India. The Kumbh Mela is Earth's largest gathering of humans. Over 100 million pilgrims meet at India's sacred rivers every 12 years. The 2019 festival built a tent city bigger than Madrid, complete with post offices and highways, then vanished weeks later. Astronauts photograph its orange lamp glow from the ISS. Would any festival near you match a crowd the size of Germany performing one communal river dip? Saudi Arabia. In northwest Saudi Arabia, bulldozers are carving the foundation for NEOM's The Line, a mirrored city 170 kilometers long, but only 200 m wide, designed to host 9 million residents with no cars and 100% renewable power. Engineers say travel from end to end will take 20 minutes via a high-speed spine. Critics call it utopian. Planners say it's the future of desert living. Would you move into a skyscraper laid on its side? Thailand. The Great Buddha of Wat Muang in Thailand rises 92 meters, taller than the Statue of Liberty minus her torch, and is coated in 313 kilograms of gold paint. Pilgrims salvage gold leaf that flakes off its toes for good luck. Engineers built a special reinforced finger able to support 200 visitors for photos. Would you climb 500 steps to touch a 10-story fingertip of gold? China. Spanning 55 kilometers across the Pearl River Delta, the Hong Kong-Zhuhai-Macau Bridge is the world's longest sea crossing. Midway, cars dive into a 4-lane undersea tunnel, so shipping lanes remain open above. The steel could circle the equator twice. Its lighting system uses AI to dim for migrating birds. Ready for a drive that sinks underwater halfway through? Sri Lanka. Sigiriya, or Lion Rock, is a 200-meter magma plug crowned by a 5th century palace. Frescoes of celestial maidens still glow on cliff walls, and a polished mirror wall once reflected the king's image as he climbed. Recent laser scans uncovered hidden terraced gardens spiraling the summit like a sky maze. Could you defend a fortress in the clouds? Indonesia. On Komodo, Rinca and 3 nearby islands lived the last wild Komodo dragons, lizards up to 3 meters long with mild venom and a bite force rivaling a crocodile's. Rangers say the dragons can smell carrion from 10 kilometers. Biologists recently tagged one that swam 2 kilometers between islands. Meet a dinosaur descendant, but keep your distance. Japan. Japan's Shinkansen bullet trains cruise at 320 kilometers per h and can brake to a safe stop in 300 seconds after seismic sensors detect P waves, faster than the damaging S waves arrive. Since 1964, not one passenger has died from a derailment. Fun fact, train noses are modeled after kingfisher beaks to cut tunnels' sonic booms. Would you trust a rail line that outsmarts earthquakes? Qatar. Sitting on its own artificial island, Doha's Museum of Islamic Art by architect I.M. Pei aligns so its windows frame the skyline like living artwork. The limestone facade changes hue from beige to rose throughout the day, mimicking desert dunes. Inside, calligraphy from 400 years glows beneath futuristic skylights. Would you visit a building designed to capture the city as its main exhibit? Maldives. The Maldives averages just 1.5 meters above sea level, making it Earth's lowest nation. Some islands could vanish this century, so engineers are building floating solar-powered resorts and an entire modular city on pontoons. Marine biologists even trial coral reef wave fences to break storm surges. Would you holiday on a paradise that fights daily not to sink? Vietnam. Vietnam's Sun Dun Cave is so huge it could house a New York City block. A collapsed roof lets in sunlight that nurtures a jungle complete with its own weather. Explorers discovered 200-meter stalagmites nicknamed stone skyscrapers. Fun tidbit, a rare cave-dwelling white spider species was first documented here in 2018. Would you camp in Earth's biggest natural room? Mongolia? Mongolia's rolling steppe hosts more horses than humans. Each July, child jockeys aged as young as 5 race 20 kilometers in the Nardam Festival, echoing Genghis Khan's cavalry drills. Researchers found nomads spend up to 280 days a year on horseback, shaping one of the world's strongest riding cultures. Would you gallop sunrise to sunset beneath an endless sky? Singapore. Singapore brands itself a city in a garden. 47% of the island is green space. Iconic solar-powered super trees harvest rainwater and light nightly LED shows, while vertical farms grow salad 50 stories up. A new law even mandates greenery on every new downtown facade. Could your city bloom into a techno rainforest? Turkey. Cappadocia's soft volcanic tuff let ancient Anatolians carve underground cities 8 stories deep, complete with wineries, stables, and churches. At dawn, hundreds of hot air balloons float above fairy chimney spires, turning the sky into a living painting. Geologists recently mapped new hidden tunnels extending 5 kilometers. Cave suite or balloon basket? Which would you choose? Crossing into Europe, history meets high tech. Romania. Welcome to Romania's Hoia Baciu, a forest that rewrites nature in under 1 square kilometer. Tree trunks twist like barley sugar sticks, magnetic compasses spin, and cameras sometimes fog for no reason. In 1968, a military technician snapped a disc-shaped UFO hovering over the clearing, sparking a paranormal gold rush. Recent soil studies found unusual iron content that may distort local geomagnetism, yet folklore says the spirits of slaughtered medieval peasants still guard hidden treasure beneath the roots. Ghost tours now issue EMF meters alongside lanterns. Would you dare a midnight walk under those crooked branches, or watch safely from the village while your drone braves the shadows? Portugal cobbled Rua Garrett, Hyde's Livraria Bertrand, the world's oldest bookstore, opening its timber doors in 1732. It survived the 1755 earthquake, secret police raids during dictatorship, and the Kindle era without ever pausing sales. Shelves still carry ledgers signed by Lord Byron and Mark Twain, and every new purchase is rubber-stamped with Bertrand 1732 like a passport through literary time. Fun detail, after closing hours, staff walk a sniffer dog named Gato to deter silverfish from the antique first editions. Do centuries-old pages smell better than any new download in your library? Finland. Each July, Finland's tiny town Sonkajärvi hosts the wife-carrying World Championship. Couples bolt 253 meters through mud pits and over timber hurdles, while the man hauls his partner upside down Estonian style. The prize? Your spouse's weight in beer, so heavier partners boost the jackpot. The contest traces its roots to a 19th century bandit who practiced stealing women for marriage. Modern safety rules now require helmets, and divorce lawyers volunteer as referees for fun. Could you shoulder true love for a golden cascade of lager? Latvia. Latvia, home of medieval castles and mind-bending bandwidth, ranks consistently among the top 10 countries for internet speed. Fiber lines reach deep pine forests where owls hoot across 500, megabit Wi-Fi. Nationwide 4G coverage hit 99% before many EU neighbors reached 80%, and a single municipal mesh network blankets the capital Riga's old town in seamless free gigabit. Tech startups hold hackathons in 14th century cellars, live streaming to Silicon Valley with no lag. Would your creativity flourish if your cabin in the woods had faster internet than downtown Manhattan? Iceland. Volcano-rich Iceland turns raw magma heat into daily comfort. 90% of homes, pools, and even snowmelt sidewalks are fed by geothermal water hot enough to boil tea straight from the tap. Leftover steam generates free electricity, giving Iceland one of the world's smallest carbon footprints. Engineers recently piped hot water to melt black ice from Reykjavik's runways, cutting winter flight delays by 40%. Could you cozy up in a living room warmed by Earth's core? Netherlands. 1/3 of the Netherlands sits below sea level. When North Sea storms roar, the Maaslandkering, 2 floating gates each longer than the Eiffel Tower laid sideways, shuts Rotterdam's estuary in 30 minutes. Engineers test the hinges weekly. If sensors detect a 1 in 10,000-year storm, the gates flood their own ballast tanks, sink, and seal the city behind a 22-meter wall of steel. Fun fact, an AI now predicts gate closures 3 hours sooner than old models, earning it the nickname Poseidon's Nose. Would you sleep soundly behind a wall holding back an ocean? Greece. The first vending machine wasn't for soda, it was for holy water. In the 1st century CE, Greek engineer Heron of Alexandria built a bronze device. Drop a drachma, a lever tilts, sacred water pours for exactly 1 prayer's time, then a counterweight slams shut. Roman temples cloned the design, making Heron the accidental father of pay-per-use tech. Modern tinkerers 3D printed a working replica in 2023 and found its flow rate was accurate to within 5 milliliters of the ancient description. Will you thank a Greek inventor the next time you grab a fizzy drink? Norway. Driving Norway's Lærdal Tunnel feels like a science fiction wormhole. 24.5 kilometers of granite, pierced by 3 cavern rest bays, bathed in blue and amber light to fight driver fatigue. Engineers curved the tunnel gently to prevent claustrophobia and piped pop music from hidden speakers as psychological comfort. The excavation produced 3 million cubic meters of rubble, now lining scenic fjord promenades. Could you cruise half an hour without a glimpse of daylight? Austria. Vienna's Schönbrunn Zoo opened in 1752, making it the world's oldest. Once reserved for Habsburg royalty, it now houses giant pandas, Arctic wolves, and an orangerie full of heirloom citrus trees. Historical diaries reveal Emperor Franz Fritz I served breakfast beneath the giraffe gazebo, inventing Europe's first zoo cafe. Today, visitors can live stream penguin feeding straight to classrooms worldwide via 5G. Would you sip Viennese coffee among 18th century pavilions and endangered species? Spain. Spain's Tabernas Desert in Andalusia is Europe's only true desert and once hosted spaghetti western classics starring Clint Eastwood. Now, a solar tower lab uses 2 000 heliostat mirrors to focus sunlight hot enough to melt steel, testing materials for future Mars habitats. Tourists can reenact gunfights on the main street set by day and watch scientists harvest megawatts by sunset. Would you duel at high noon, then toast clean energy at dusk? Switzerland. Neutral on the world stage, but bomb-proof at home, Switzerland legally requires fallout shelter space for every resident. Family homes hide steel blast doors behind wardrobes. Highways double as jet runways with removable guardrails. A recent census counted 360,000 communal bunkers, enough to house the combined population of Iceland, Malta, and Luxembourg. Feeling safer under the Alps yet? Czechia. Spread over 70,000 m2, Prague Castle is the largest ancient castle complex on Earth, an entire fortified city with a Gothic cathedral, Renaissance palace, and golden lane, where alchemists once chased the philosopher's stone. Hidden letterboxes still carry 16th century spy notes in invisible ink. Can your step counter handle a royal workout through 1,000 years of corridors? Ireland. Before Latin letters, Celts etched Ogam, a 25-character alphabet of notches, onto standing stones guarding Ireland's coasts. Some inscriptions still mark Iron Age land deals, readable today with a pocket guide and patience. In 2022, researchers laser-scanned all 400 surviving stones to create the first 3D searchable Ogam corpus. Could you decode history one groove at a time? Serbia. Serbia's Devil's Town hosts 200 sandstone hoodoos capped by volcanic rock, some standing 15 meters. Legends say they were wedding guests petrified by the devil. Geologists blame acid rain dissolving softer layers. New drone LiDAR maps hint more pillars lie buried, ready to rise as the valley erodes. Which explanation chills you more, chemistry or curse? Estonia put its government in the cloud. 99% of public services are online, citizens vote from their living rooms, and blockchain secures medical records. Over 100,000 foreigners have become e-residents, running EU companies without ever boarding a plane. A recent audit found the e-tax portal takes an average of 3 minutes to file returns. Would you sign up for digital citizenship in the world's most wired republic? Poland, Belarus, Białowieża Forest. Straddling Poland and Belarus lies Białowieża Forest, Europe's last primeval woodland. Some oak trunks measure 5 meters around. Wild European bison, nearly wiped out in 1920, now roam again after rewilding. Scientists drilling tree rings here reconstruct climate back 400 years, offering a green archive older than most cathedrals. Ready for a hike through a living time machine? Croatia. Dubrovnik's 2-kilometer walls have survived earthquakes, gunpowder, and HBO dragons, doubling as King's Landing in Game of Thrones. Visitors can walk the full circuit, peering through arrow slits once used against pirates. Local guides now offer royal route tours in medieval armor. Fancy a real-life dragon's eye view over the Adriatic? Germany. Certain stretches of Germany's Autobahn remain legally speed limit free. Engineers design curves like racetracks and lay special asphalt that drains rain at 200 kilometers per h. A 2023 study clocked 18% of drivers cruising over 180 kilometers per h, yet accidents per kilometer stayed lower than Europe's average. Would you flatten the pedal in the world's fastest public lane, or stick to the right for safety? North America, coasts, canyons, and supervolcanoes ahead. Canada. Canada hugs 3 oceans and owns the world's longest coastline, 202,000 kilometers. If you walked 10 kilometers a day, you'd finish in 55 years, assuming polar bears and icebergs didn't block the path. Climate scientists use this ragged shore as a baseline for sea level rise across the planet. Could you handle that much seaside adventure? United States. Yellowstone National Park sits on a supervolcano with a magma chamber that could fill the Grand Canyon 14 times. A 30x60-kilometer caldera breathes. Ground rises and falls annually like a sleeping giant. Scientists track 2000 small quakes here every year to predict future eruptions, picnic over Earth's pressure cooker, or keep moving. Mexico. Mexico City sinks about 25 centimeters each year because it rests on a drained lake bed. Over the past century, some historic buildings have dropped 9 meters. Engineers now re-inject water underground and float a section of airport runway on hydraulic jacks. Would you live in a megacity that keeps slipping earthward? Onward to colorful South America. Chile. The Atacama Desert is so dry, some weather stations here have never recorded rain. Soil chemistry is so Mars-like NASA tests rover prototypes on its red crust. Astronomers prize the crystal-clear skies for the world's largest telescopes. Would you survive Earth's closest thing to another planet? Brazil. São Paulo hosts the world's largest Japanese community outside Japan, about 2 million people. Sushi bars share blocks with samba schools. Buddhist temples stand beside soccer pitches. Even pastel street food fuses soy sauce and tropical fruit. Have you tasted Japanese-Brazilian culture on one plate? Colombia. Caño Cristales River blooms red, yellow, and green every dry season as aquatic plant. Macarenia clavigera photosynthesizes in crystal-clear water, earning the nickname Liquid Rainbow. Tourism is capped to protect fragile riverbeds. Would you dive into nature's tie-dye? Argentina. In 1892, Argentina became the first country to solve a murder using fingerprint evidence. Inspector Latsina matched a bloody print on a doorframe to the mother of 2 slain children, overturning her false testimony. Forensic science was never the same. Would you trust your identity to a swirl of ridges? Peru. Vinicunca, Rainbow Mountain, stripes minerals into vivid red, turquoise, mustard, and lavender at 5,200 meters altitude. Hikers brave thin air and glacier winds for photos that look unreal. Geologists date its color bands to early Jurassic seabeds lifted by Andean uplift. Climb into a Technicolor dream or admire from safer oxygen levels? Bolivia. Salar de Uyuni, the world's largest salt flat, turns into a perfect mirror after rain. So vast, NASA calibrates satellite altimeters here. Drivers follow Zolt roads marked by tire tracks. At night, stars reflect underfoot. Fancy a selfie where sky and earth swap places? Easter Island. 900 Moai statues stand on Easter Island, some weighing 82 tons. Archaeologists now believe islanders walked them upright by rocking side to side with ropes, proof of Stone Age crowdsourcing. Modern teams replicated the move with 18 people in 2012. How would you transport a stone giant across volcano slopes? Final leg, Oceania's islands and outback. Kangaroos outnumber Australians roughly 2 to 1, about 50 million hoppers. In outback towns, motorists call dawn hop hour because roads turn into route traffic. Conservationists now use drone thermal cameras to count mobs at night, a marsupial census from the air. Would your morning commute handle a bouncing gridlock? We've just traveled the globe, 60 countries. Which fact blew your mind most? Drop your answer below, smash that like, and be sure to subscribe so you're on board for the next world adventure.